All right, all right. I hope, and I think this is working now. It's live. Uh, it's very possible no one even is gonna watch it. So again, I want this to keep it very informal. Thanks once again, my friend, Professor Malandro, for doing this with me. Uh, I wanted to do this because the one thing that intrigued me was when you said you have the information from the source, and this is what you know uh, make me thinking, okay, that would be good to do. And then you proposed, you sent this message and was like, okay, let's do this. So first of all, I wanted to ask you, like because you said that, what it actually means. You have the information from the source, maybe a little bit about your, capoeira journey, in terms
Yeah.
of like capoeira regional.
Uh, yeah. So, for those who may not know, I'm Professor Malandro, a student of Mestre Nenel, who's the son
Directly
of
from Mestre Nenel.
Mestre. Yes, Mestre
Wow.
Nenel.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And for those who may not know, Mestre Nenel is the son of Mestre Bimba. Um, so when I say like from the source, it's directly from him, Mestre Nenel. Um, and also try to make it so that it's more of like, hey, here's something that I learned, and I'm just sharing information because it's very, you know, sometimes people argue over nothing, or somebody will come in and try to devalue uh, the capoeira of somebody else if it's not as pure or if it's not as modern and things like that. But I want to make sure to be able to connect and be like, hey, I have some information. Because also on your music videos, there were like questions like, oh, have you ever, heard
Exactly.
rhythm played? Um, so it was like, just felt like a genuine opportunity just to share information. And thank you so much for being so cool about it.
Of course, man. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the place where I just want to, I'm learning myself and I want people to learn and I'm just trying to put a little bit, 2 cents to the capoeira community. Uh,
hmm
all right, so you directly student of Mestre NNL. So how long that's been going? How did it start it?
let's see. It started, let me see, back really back maybe 2003. That's the 3 or 4. That's when I first saw Master Nanel. I knew who he was just from capoeira documentaries and capoeira magazines that I used to collect. But to first time actually like training in his class or visiting his academy in Salvador Bahia, that was 2006. And I was living in Brazil already because I was getting my contra mastery chord. At that time, I was with a different group, Capoeira Ginga.
So, sorry to interrupt you. So you had different level to what you have currently?
Yes.
So, okay. So how long you've been doing capoeira for?
I started capoeira in 1997.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's like wow, that's like such like yeah, that's a lot of experience. You're probably capoeira master at this point. Why are you professor?
Well, good question. In our school, Filhos de Bimba, we don't use like the titles of like instructor, professor. Professor, I'm only called that because I'm a teacher. So it's not
Right.
that like, okay, I went through a ceremony and then I received like this title. Like uh, officially, like I'm a formado, a formado of Master Nenel.
Right.
But that's not how like we would introduce ourselves. Like I'm formado malandro or anything like that. So
Quick
yeah.
question on that in this case, is it true that at the beginning when Mr. Bimba was putting things together, there were like 3 or 4 levels only? It was like beginner, and there was like advanced, and then was like no master but professional level
hmm
or something like this. Is that true?
Yeah. Well, there's yes, there has been like evolution of his work. But to answer your question, like simply, you receive silk scarves, and there's 4 scarves. Okay. So at your the first, as we say, like the when you complete the first phase, um, or the basic course, because Master Bimba felt that capoeira was a form of education.
Right.
So when you complete your the first course, you receive the or the basic course, as they say, you receive your blue scarf. Then the next one is the specialization course, right?
Right. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, special the first specialization course, and then in that one you learn capoeira resources for self defense, movements that are not to be used in the roda, but to protect yourself or someone you care about. And then that's when you go into the forest after you finish training, and then you have to make it from point A to point B, and that's you have to participate in the emboscada, like the ambush.
Mm.
And then that after you complete that course, you receive your red scarf. And then the next course after that is the second specialization course, and that's when you learn capoeira resources to defend against like knives and sticks, guns,
This is
and
we
things.
have to talk about this as well. I've
Yeah,
never heard anything about this in my life.
yeah. And then, but the thing is, like all these are all these different phases are things that Master Bimba created, and they have been going on for decades. And then the last one is you receive a white scarf, which that's when you receive a title called Mestre Charangueiro, which is just a charanga is what we call the bateria or the orchestra in Capoeira Regional.
Right.
Um, and then
Okay.
that's it.
Okay, I'm gonna flip here. I'm gonna switch here just so to make it a bit more interactive, okay, for
Hmm.
people. I'm gonna take some notes, okay?
But okay.
So if you can go very quickly once again, okay, if you can just uh, I should have taken the notes earlier, okay, sooner on that.
Hmm.
My
No problem.
bad. I should have done this, but it's fine, you know.
Yeah,
No
we're
one,
live.
no one cares. No one cares. That's my approach, you know. No one gives a shit at the end of the day. So, right, where's
Yeah.
the letters? Okay, hopefully you guys
Hmm.
can see that. We have actually some viewers. Hi everyone, anyone
Hmm.
who's watching. Thank you so much for joining in. This is Professor Malandro with me here from Filhos de Bimba School in Atlanta. You said?
Yes. Hmm.
Yes. So our guest today, and we dissecting Capoeira Regional. That's the goal.
Hmm.
How do I make it bigger? Oh, there we go. Okay. No. I'm so bad at this. Oh my goodness. Right. So you said the levels of Capoeira Regional, like
Hmm.
traditionally from Mestre Bimba.
Hmm.
So you said first level.
Yeah.
Can you repeat that very quickly once again?
Yes. Cool. First level is the basic course.
Okay, so that basic course, okay.
Hmm.
And this
The
is
basic.
like there is a set of tests for that as well?
Yeah. There's still evaluations and within that is once, for example, you get evaluated on your music, knowledge of and execution of the takedowns, the different baloins, the sequencia,
Okay.
all the rhythms. Can you also like sing a quadra corrido while playing this rhythm and that
And this is
rhythm?
on the first course we're talking.
Yes, this is the first course.
Wow, okay. That's very
Yeah,
much different, yeah. That's
yeah.
quite a
So,
lot of knowledge. So basic
hmm,
course, and then once you complete this course, you get your first scarf?
yeah, the blue scarf.
Right. So blue scarf.
Hmm.
It's interesting you said blue scarf, like a scarf rather than a cord.
Yeah, because in Capoeira Regional there aren't any chords.
Hmm.
Yeah, Master Bimba used silk scarves, lenço azul, right? And the scarf, I still have mine. I can show you real quick, but it,
If you do, that would be super interesting if you could show us actually.
yeah, 1 second.
Brilliant. Oh, it's been too long since I've used this tool for writing,
Yeah,
and I'm now
so
struggling. All right, okay, that's a silk scarf. So this is your blue scarf.
yeah, so you hear, and then your madrino or padrino would like tie the scarf, on you as like this,
All right,
you know,
that's
and the
super interesting.
silk scarf legend has it is that the reason why they use that is because the malandros that would have like navalias, straight razors, um, having a silk scarf would protect your neck against, the razor cuts.
this makes so much, like everything starts to make so much sense now when you say that. Yeah. So that's
Hmm.
okay, blue scarf. I'm gonna fix it
Yes.
up later on, doesn't matter, okay?
Yeah.
So, and then you said, so that's basic course. The number two is what? Then you
Then,
have the second course.
yeah, that's the specialization course.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then you again, what you practice there? You said
Yeah, you
protection against weapons, you said?
no, that's the one after that.
Okay, okay.
So the specialization course is capoeira resources for self-defense, movements outside of the holder for protection, and then you have the ambush, the emboscada. All that is in the specialization course, the ambush or the emboscada.
All right. So, uh, bom dia, YD and Malutir. You guys cannot see what I'm showing here, the screen. Can you please confirm, please? Malandro, can you actually see? Can you see
I see,
everything?
yeah, I see it on my screen, or yeah, I see it on the channel, the
Yeah, I'm
YouTube
not
channel.
sure what's going on. Okay, so
Hmm.
and then once you complete the specialization course, you receive what scarf?
Red.
Red scarf.
Hmm.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and the emboscada is to simulate when the enslaved Africans were escaping into the forest, and the bush captains would go after them to try to capture their property.
All right, okay. So and that's so the third one is what again? Sorry.
The second specialization course.
Oh, that's called emboscada.
No, so the third one is yes, you can put the emboscada for number two.
Right, okay.
Yeah, for number three is the second specialization course, with which in Portuguese they would say Curso de Armas, the weapons course.
Okay, we need to talk about this. Why I have never ever in my life heard about this, that there were courses created by Mestre
Hmm.
Bimba
Hmm.
to protect yourself from armed weapons, yeah?
Yes, yes. Now, I think it was just difficult because it was only from one place, like one source, one person was doing this. Also back in that era, it wasn't common for people to be training in order to make a profession out of doing capoeira. Um, that's something that kind of slowly came after like Master Bimba, like
Oh,
people opening up schools and things. So
okay.
uh, but also, yeah, so I'm saying that is that people, the few students of his that completed that second course, the course of Giarmas, it wasn't like, hey, I'm going to, eventually open a school and I'm going to teach my students this. It was more so like, okay, I have these resources to protect myself in these, streets that are kind of dangerous.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, it makes total sense to have that, but
Right.
it's
Yeah.
just, I have never heard about this.
Hmm.
Like
You have. Do you remember the Mestre Bimba Corso de Capoeira Regional?
yes.
And it has like a little booklet in it.
Yes.
Yeah, it has mentions of that in the specialization course
Right.
in that booklet.
So after the second specialization course, you receive
Hmm.
with like another scarf?
Yes, yellow.
Yellow. Oh, yellow. And this
Hmm.
is okay. What's happening after that?
And then the last one is you just receive the white scarf. So with the white scarf, it's not a course or anything that you have to take. It's just that you have demonstrated that you fully embody, the philosophy and everything, fundamentals, the methodology of Capoeira Regional, and you can transmit all of that, the history and the culture. You understand it enough to be trusted to transmit it to the next generation.
Which is what you're exactly doing right now at this moment.
Yeah.
Do you have white scarf?
No, I have the blue and the red.
In but you've been in Capoeira for such a long time. Why
I know
not?
that.
And then
The
you don't
thing
have yellow?
Not yet, but
Did you
there's a
mention you actually taking the second course?
yeah, yes.
All right, so you actually in the middle of that, or like,
Yeah, I was in the forest, the trails in Brazil, trying to get from point A to point B. Yeah, and
oh,
then you get attacked at different uh, locations.
no, did you actually go through this?
Yes,
Can you tell
yes,
us a bit more about this? Like, how would that work? Like, who set this up?
yeah. Well, it's a course, so the masters and everyone like are accustomed to doing the format. So you train a few days before of all these different movements and scenarios. Again, these are movements outside of like the capoeira roda, or even like if you are in the roda and there's like people or someone like playing very like dangerous. Obviously, you can just present your hand and you don't need to be there. But if so you're in the roda and someone tries to like punch you in the face and or grab you in this manner, this is a way to like get out of that situation.
Right, okay. That
Um,
makes total
and then
sense.
so then after you do those few days of like training, then they have an area already designated where it's a trail that you have to go through, and you just get at certain points you get attacked um, by other high level students in the school. So now the students who went through it before,
Right.
now they're the ones who get to attack the other people who are going through it.
Man, that sounds so interesting. That's
Mhm.
wow, wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So, so White Scarf, you are kind of regarded as master of capoeira at this point.
Yeah, and the confusing thing for the people on that don't use the same terminology is like, so in our school it's not when you are referred to as like mastere or mastera, it's like we're using the term mastri charangueiro, not so much master of capoeira, but the
So, how
entire
do you
word
spell it? X I.
mastri charangueiro.
Yeah, how do you spell that?
Yeah, it's
Ah,
ch.
CH.
Yeah, let me see here. Boom, boom, boom. Want to make sure I get all the ups and
Chat, if you know as well, you can help me out here.
Mhm. Yeah, so Charangueiro.
GU.
Eiro. Mestre Charangueiro.
E. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
Gueiro.
Yeah,
Yep.
GUEIRO. Perfect.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so
Wow, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for explaining that. That's first thing, off the bat, and I didn't even know anything about this.
mhm.
That just makes me feel like I have no idea what Capoeira Regional really is. But when I started, for those who might not know, my background is Capoeira Regional as well, but only for a year. When I started in a group of Unicar in Poland, and we had, yeah, I think we didn't have that much exposure to the source knowledge. So it was a little
Mhm.
bit like like a little bit here, a little bit a little bit there.
Right.
And we kind of relied on teachers who would go to Brazil one so often, and then learn a little bit. They would bring back the information, and it would be passed on to my teacher, and then our teacher would pass it on to us. Okay, let's move on. Um, we of course we're gonna talk about the music because this is kind of
Right.
what brought us here.
Mhm.
But in
Yes.
terms of, since we are on the like capoeira and the movement a little bit, okay.
Mhm.
I wanted to ask you about, first of all, Mestre Bimba sequences. Okay, so
Yes.
this is, I think I know what this is about, this kind of type of training, but
Mhm.
what people actually might not know how to actually train this.
Yeah.
So my teacher and my Mestre Medusa and Mestre Papalagus, they of course they introduced us to the sequence. Is it correct? It's only one sequence of Mestre Bimba, and it's basically contains all of those 8 bits.
Yes. So it's one sequence and it just has 8 parts. And I
Yes,
tell, my students like you have one body, but you have many, body
limbs.
parts.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. Perfect. And so the of course the training, the sequences are to for beginner students to learn the basic kicks and defenses, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And this is what the beginners. So, for example, let's take a day one beginner doesn't know anything about capoeira. The sequencia and all those movements in it are going to be your ABCs. It's going to be that students' ABCs for the for their to build their foundation in capoeira. And this is
Right.
before anybody steps into a roda or plays capoeira. So in regional, you learn or have a basic understanding of the entire sequencia.
Before
Then you
you
can
go to the Hoda for even for the very first time.
exactly.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Because Master Bimba created the sequence as like a teaching tool. And, like I said, I was in Capoeira Manjinga and we learned the Sequencia de Bimba, as we called it, just closer to the time of like the Troca de Cordões or a Batizado. It wasn't like, it wasn't used in the same format. And when I say used in the same format, Messi Bimba created it to teach beginners who didn't know how to play capoeira.
Right.
And we do the same thing in our school where we teach the students. But once the students knows the sequencia, um, we can use it as a warm up in class. We can do the sequencia, but um, the person doesn't know which part you're going to do, and I don't know which part they're going to do, but we have to complete all 8 parts.
So
Um,
basically, you start the sequence.
mhm,
They don't know which sequence you start. With Ginga, you start third sequence, and
mhm.
they have to kind of adapt and carry on the sequence.
Yeah, this is just a different way to train it, but
Yes.
this is
So yeah.
for the more once the people like actually know it by heart and have good technique, then you can like do all these different changes, not
Yeah.
changes, but adapt the training of the sequence.
Yeah.
Also, you can add takedowns, to it instead. But I'm saying all that to say that in our school we do the sequencia every single class, and we
Mm.
do. It could be like I said in the beginning. We can do like just a special segment of the training. It can be right before we play capoeira, but at some point in the class, the sequencia has to be done. Same thing with the Cintura Desprezada. If you and your students can, or whomever is there, can perform all four of the basic Balaoes, then you do the Cintura Desprezada to every single class.
Right. We're gonna talk about this as well. Cinturas.
Mm-hmm.
Bom dia, Megan. Um, oh, man, so much to talk about. So much to talk about. A little
Hmm.
bit more on Mestre Bimba sequences. This is something I've tried to teach my students the sequences
Hmm.
and try to come up with different trainings to utilize them. So as you said, one of type of training would be uh, starting a sequence and the person has to finish the sequence.
Hmm.
Um, maybe in order, maybe then out of order, and then
Hmm.
another option, as you mentioned, maybe try to put takedowns within the sequence at any point
Hmm.
of the sequence.
Right.
Um, do you have any other ways of? I'm sure you do. I would just try to pick your brain. What other types of training you might think of, in terms of using Mestre Mi sequences, like how you break them down, how to use them for training, for the
Hmm.
jogo, not necessarily for the sequences themselves.
Right. So before I joined Filhos de Bimba, um, I was using the method. I was learning all I could about the methodology of teaching Master Bimba's work, right? Before joining. So I had a brand new kids class, and what I decided to do is like just use the methodology with the kids, and just to try to. They were like my experiment, my guinea
Yeah,
pigs.
totally.
Um, and just like really in a very short time, the kids, had a basic understanding of the sequencia and then started to play capoeira with each other. And I think sometimes people, when they're looking at the sequencia, they may kind of judge it as being like outdated. Because I've been to capoeira events where I taught a workshop and I taught the sequencia, and one one master day was like, the student's going to play like this, you know,
Okay.
and it was like, no, it's just to, get their foundation, their repetition of the kicks, staying close to the partner. So, um, but it has evolved because if you think about all of Master Bimba's students, Master Accordion, Master Itapuan, Master Camisa, they all started learning the sequence, and now they're playing capoeira. So
Right.
it's just, yeah, it's just interesting how the folks that don't understand it is because they don't use the tools in the way it was meant, originally.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
Um, okay, now we're gonna go into two ways. Either we go into balance, I want to talk
Hmm.
about that,
Yeah.
or we talk about a little bit about mestres of Capoeira Regional. So I think you mentioned balance already, mestres as
Hmm.
well, but let's quickly go through this in terms
Yeah.
of, like, can you tell me a bit more about balance? And you mentioned there are four that are kind of in basic ones.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so if you can maybe talk about this as well, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah, sure. So with the Balaoes, they existed in capoeira, right? So um, there are Balaoes in capoeira Angola, because I took a workshop with Mestre Jogo Dentro, and he showed us different Balaoes that you would do from the chamadas. Um,
Okay.
and and just very similar to the basic ones that we're doing in Regional. Um, so I think the only difference with Angola and Regional is that with Capoeira Regional, knowing those throws, the balões, became a part of the curriculum. And
Right.
then with Angola, it's like, okay, maybe the teacher will teach you, or maybe you'll work on it one day and then that's it. But it's not a requirement, excuse me, for you to know it or perform it. Um,
So can you
yeah.
of course it's gonna be difficult to actually maybe explain physically how they look, but can you actually tell me what are the four basic balloons?
Yes, the four basic balões is one is apanhada, and that's when you do the AU, you stop in a handstand, the person comes in like for close for like a cabeçada, you kind of come down and then they pop
So,
you
and they
behind.
fall onto their shoulder and you push them up?
They pop up behind you.
Right. I'm not sure
Yeah,
if,
so like.
again, chat, I'm not sure if this is the correct spelling, apanhada.
Mm-hmm.
You can check, maybe,
No problem, I got you.
yeah, you can take a look as well. Oh my goodness, I need to practice with this stuff. Oh my goodness, what is
It's
this?
gonna make for a great stories. Remember when?
Yeah. Right. So first one, apanhada. That's incorrect, of course. Apanhada, hopefully.
Yeah. Let's see. Apanhada. Apanhada.
Yeah, good.
Mm-hmm. Apanhada.
Right. And so that's the. Uh, would you call it a fall onto the shoulder or?
Yes. Yeah. You fall. You're in the handstand. You fall onto the person, and they stand up, and you land behind them.
Perfect. Okay. Let's go to
Yeah.
the next one.
Balão de lado. Balao.
Yeah.
With the squiggly line over
Yeah.
there.
I don't. Unfortunately, sorry, chat. I don't have the Brazilian Portuguese letter, so it's. I'm gonna fix it up later on for you.
Yeah, we'll we'll update on the next live.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, balão de lado. That's when you put the person in kind of a headlock
And they
and put them.
hold their hips, your partner's hips.
No, you're grabbing their head.
Yeah, you grab their head and
Oh,
then
the other person, yeah, and then they throw you forward.
right. So the other person holds their hands on your hips.
Hmm.
Is that correct?
Yes, yeah. Hmm.
So head.
How you?
I'm gonna call it what? Headlock
Yeah,
throw.
whatever way you want to describe it. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like what I want to do, I want to, I'm gonna find them because I know those. I for
Yeah.
my professor belt, I was doing some of them.
Hmm.
But again, like, I didn't even know which are actually the basic ones.
Yeah. And also, like I've again being with Manjinga, like I've performed these, um, but there was never like a name for each of them. It was like do this one,
Yeah, yeah,
don't do
exactly.
that.
That's what I'm like, improvising here a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Cool. So then we have, okay, we did the balão gelado, balão cinturado.
Balang. Right.
Hmm.
We might actually want to try to find them online in a minute, just to quickly
Hmm.
show people. Cinturado. Okay, so this one I'm not sure, like by the name of it, I'm not sure with that which one that
Yeah.
is.
So that's when the person, both of you are standing. One person comes for cabezada, and you kind of reach over
Oh,
them and then throw them over your.
so this
The,
is a throw over the shoulder, really.
yes. Hmm. And cinturadas with a CI.
Uh,
Balão cinturado. Yeah.
Cinturado. Okay. One more thing on balão gelado, the
Yes.
headlock throw. The grab is from. Make sure that people can see actually. The
Yeah.
grab is here, correct? And
No.
then
No. Mm-mm.
what's the grab? Grab.
From the around your
So
hip
they grab
there.
here,
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
and then you throw them forward.
Yes.
Oh man, that's it's scary. You do this at the begin for beginners. It's scary. That's scary.
No, this is this is for the advanced.
Okay, okay, good. At least that.
Yeah.
At least that. Yeah. My students kind of asked me about this a few times, but I had
Hmm.
very little. I never had a class on this really ever
Right. Yeah.
on balance, so
Hmm.
that's why.
But also this. So, for example, sequencia and the cintura desprezada, like knowing those and being able to do it every single class, like all of that is a part of the foundation
Hmm.
of the basic course. So,
Oh, so the basic course we talking about here
mhm.
levels basic course number one.
Yeah. Yeah, so when people say like basic, that means, but it's everything. It's you learning the basic movements, but also going to like eventually like the takedowns and then like playing the beating bow, playing the pandero,
Yeah, yeah,
singing and playing at the same time, like more advanced balloons that are outside of the that sequence.
right.
So yeah.
Okay, let's go to the fourth one.
Hmm. The fourth one is gravata alta.
Is it with D, gravada?
Yeah, GRAVA.
V, D.
G. Yep. Gravada. Yeah, with the T. Gravata.
Gravada, G.
Mm-hmm. Alta.
Alta.
Gravata alta.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the high throw.
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
Tie. Gravata is a tie. Mhm.
Oh, right. Okay. So what is it then? What is this balloon?
No, that's the one you're the original. Here, the person is behind you, and you grab behind the head and throw them forward.
Oh, okay. So this is low headlock.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. And this is
Um,
like high headlock. Oh my goodness. Should we try to chat? Should we try to find those? Let's try to quickly find those. Let's see if we can find those throws here.
no,
Oh,
I can.
we're gonna
That's.
talk about this as well.
Hmm.
Do you have time?
Oh yeah,
Do you have time?
I
Yeah.
do. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's see if I can find Balaoes.
I have a footage of it.
Oh, you do have. Do you have? Can you send me a link?
Yeah, well, you can just search capoeira and put Bay Area. Yeah, BA1. Yep, there it is.
So which one is it?
And then click on the Filhos de Bimba link right there.
Oh yeah,
The
there we go.
the blue logo.
And then playlists or videos,
Videos.
right? Or I could actually maybe search for it. Do you have?
Yeah, I have it there. It'll say like you can scroll down a little bit.
Okay. Oh,
Mhm.
no, that's kicks.
Keep going, keep going, keep going. This is all basic stuff, but I have a video of the specifically the throws. I with
Guys, check this out. This site. There is so much stuff in here.
let me see, I might put the
Can I just search for balloons here?
mm-hmm.
No,
Here.
no, won't work. Bear with me, guys. Have some water, tea, coffee, biscuit.
Yes, whatever time it is where you are.
Cintura Desprezada, is that the one? But this is like one.
Yes. Yep. That's it.
Salve, salve,
All
everyone.
right, that's you.
Sou Professor Malandro.
Yes.
Okay, sweet. So,
And I'll just explain in the you can hop forward, but just explaining the purpose behind learning the throws in the
let's
school.
listen to the
Professor
whole thing.
Malandro, and we are back
Okay.
again on another video of
Yay.
Capoeira Regional, sharing the knowledge and education. So now we're going to cover the Cintura Desprezada, which is an advanced sequence of Balaoes. It is important to know that the Balaoes existed in primitive capoeira.
Is
So
that why
before there was a
I
distinction of
it's
capoeira
not playing on
Balaoe,
mine. I wonder if it's playing for you.
regional,
It's all
there
good.
were these types of
Okay,
throws
cool.
in capoeira. In Mestre Bimba's time, it was believed that once the capoeirista was grabbed in a fight, that it was over for the capoeirista. So Mestre Bimba, in the genius that he was, developed different escapes from these throws so that his students would know how to free themselves, or if they were thrown, to be able to land on their feet like all good capoeiristas should do. Now you're going to see a video of the Cintura Desprezada between two professores, Professor Birimbau and Baiana Borboleta. As you can see, there's going to be a difference in the size, but if you have good technique and know how to apply strength and foundation, then it doesn't matter about the size of the person. So, enjoy the video.
This is so interesting and so good to know what you said there, because people are really
hmm
intimidated by this. Oh, I'm
hmm
small, I won't be able to do this. But actually,
Yeah.
yeah, probably it's as you said.
hmm
Hi Amanda, hi Language for Viral. Nicole, hello. Okay, so that's the first one. We called it
Apanhada.
apañada. Yeah, cool.
hmm hmm
Oh, so it's this grab, but
Yeah.
it looks like high, but it's actually below. Okay,
Yeah.
there we go. Okay, this one scares me. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the balão de lado.
Okay, I'm gonna stop here. Sorry.
hmm
That was Chisora de Angola, correct?
We just say Chisora.
Okay, so you have this movement technique in Capoeira Regional?
Yes. The thing is that it's a movement you don't commonly see unless we're playing like the slower games. So for example, when you hear Una, you'll see that a lot.
Right,
That
okay.
movement. When we play Idalina Compassada
Right.
and also Banguelinha.
Right, okay. We're gonna talk
You-
about those as well. Yeah, sure.
Mhm.
Cool. Okay, let's watch. So then another one.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the third one, I believe, yeah? The
Yeah.
balão cinturado.
Yes.
I think I've watched this video, by the way. And the last one.
So yeah, then you repeat.
Oh, right, okay. So, and the last one? Sorry, that was...
Is gravata alta.
So this is gravata.
No, not yet.
Oh, wait, that's the cinturado, yeah?
Yeah, that's the apanhada.
Oh, wait, the apanhada? And
hmm
that's... Oh,
Because
because...
you repeat. You do
Oh,
the
you repeat.
first three, and then we repeat with the other person being thrown.
They're having so much
Mhm.
fun there.
Yeah,
I
on
can see.
cobblestone. This is our headquarters.
Man, this is impressive. Like you see little person,
Yeah.
throwing big guy there. Okay, that's great.
Mhm. And now he throws her.
Fantastic.
Thank
So this is your academy there?
That's our academy in Salvador, Bahia.
Oh, I see, I see. So
Yeah, yeah.
where you live now? So do you lead the group now in
Yes.
Bay Area? So
In-
you the master of the group.
I was in the Bay Area for um and we just celebrated like 12 years. 12 years like anniversary of our Filhos de Bimba school, and now I have another branch here in Atlanta.
Oh, right, cool, cool,
Yeah.
cool. Awesome.
Hmm.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much for that. Let's move on because we just scratched the surface. Guys, by the way, if you have any questions, I want this to, I hope this is gonna be a bit more interactive. If you have any questions, probably more to Malandro than to myself because, I'm just learning as you are about Capoeira Regional. But if you have any questions, please do ask, okay? Okay,
Hmm.
so I wanted to ask about Capoeira Masters now, okay? But
Hmm.
before we kind of move back to music and games. So of course, Capoeira Regional, everyone is mentioning Mestre Bimba,
Hmm.
okay? But I wanted to ask you about, any other very important influences of Capoeira Regional. I'm sure there's, other masters, So maybe if you like, think of it like you want to give people some homework to do, Like, oh, guys, maybe
Yeah.
you should actually pay attention to this master, read on a little bit about this.
Yeah. Definitely. Master Itapuan.
Yeah.
Um, he has a lot of books, um, and just videos and information out there. Um, if they can search out Fundação Mestre Bimba.
Fundação Mestre Bimba.
Yes,
Is
that's the
that
name
is
of.
is that the book, yeah?
No, so it's not the name of Master Itapuan's book. Fundação Mestre Bimba, that's the name of the headquarters in Salvador, Bahia. But also they have like, you know, Instagram and
All right.
the YouTube. So it's just more so if they can find books and videos, uh, or Instagram or Facebook, um,
Okay, cool stuff.
individuals. Um,
So another master, of course, there is Mr. Accordion. Everyone knows about him as well. He's been,
mhm,
like Capoeira Regional master as well.
yeah.
Uh, of course, Mestre Nenel. I should have
Mhm.
probably put it as number one there.
It's not a competition.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I do. Yeah, I'm putting these numbers like number one and number two. Doesn't matter the numbers. I'm just like
Mhm.
I
For
like.
sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
No
It's
problem.
nothing. Nothing to do with that. And any other masters? Like maybe a bit less known that people. You know.
Um, yeah, the thing is that okay, just to give a timeline, right?
Yep.
So you have capoeira, and then you have Master Bimba who comes along
Yeah.
and just like, hey, I want this for my expression of capoeira.
Right.
Then over time, everyone else that wasn't doing what you were doing for your expression was like, okay, we're gonna call our capoeira this, right?
Right.
So then, you know, Master Bima passes away. He doesn't have or never. It wasn't the era of like grooming people to become teachers or professional capoeiristas. It was like just giving people the tools that they can survive. In Brazil at that time. Um, so Master Bima passes away. Then anybody else who was doing capoeira, if it wasn't viewed as capoeira Angola, automatically got called capoeira regional. You know,
Okay.
even if no one had visited even if the person didn't visit Messi Bimba's academy, and not to say that it's a good or bad thing. That was just the times because it wasn't so much like, okay, we're going to designate our capoeira as this. It was just like, well, it's not Angola, so it's regional. Um, just so that people can kind of understand the trajectory and how um, what became known as Hazel now went through a process of like the game of telephone, um,
Okay.
and just kind of like further away from the source. Because I myself was like worried about visiting Messi Nanel's academy for the first time because I was like, oh, okay, they do pure Hazel now. They're probably gonna like play really aggressive. Someone's gonna try to punch me in the face.
We're gonna talk
Um,
about this as well. Yes.
but then when I went, no one was doing like all of the acrobatics which is the stereotype of Haitian. I was like, and they weren't playing like really fast and or aggressive or any of that stuff. Once I went, you know, like I said, to the source. Um, so just like over time, once people designate, oh, we have like contemporánea or we have like capoeira de rua and things like that. So there's a lot of masters who are very, very influential to capoeira as a whole, and also very supportive of capoeira regional. It's just that there was a time where anything that wasn't Angola was called regional.
Right.
And then just as a reference, more information and references got put out there, then certain people were like, oh, okay, what we do is not regional, we're going to call it contemporánea, you know? And then we do these little elements that exist in Master Bimba's methodology of regional to like pay homage, or if we have a connection to show that. But what we do is actually a different type of capoeira.
Would you agree if I said that most of capoeira nowadays is contemporánea?
Yes.
M- Even capoeira regional groups, people think
Yes.
this is capoeira regional. This is actually has very little to do with like how it was played before, wasn't it?
Yeah. Not even so much how it was played, but also like just the principles.
Hmm.
Um, so for example, there's 8 principles, and one is like
What do you
or
mean
a
by
few
principles?
like the
For the
Haitian like philosophy, like is written down,
Oh
you know.
man, let's go. Let's go. I love lists, I love principles, I love numbers as you noticed. Let's fucking go, man.
uh,
Capoeira regional
hmm.
principles.
Yes. Hmm.
That's fantastic. I love this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go, man.
No problem. Okay.
So this is like something that Mestre Bimba created as well?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
already. I mean, there's a version, not necessarily of the principles, but like how he had his school rules of like, no drinking, no smoking.
Oh, right. I think I heard. So
Yeah.
those are the rules, yeah?
No, that was a rule that Master Bimba just had in his academy. This
Because
is
I've
different.
seen that before somewhere when you
Right.
say that now.
Right. Yeah. This is the principles are different.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
What are those?
Okay. So always Ginga.
Okay.
Don't worry, it gets better as we go along.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, man. This is history. We are all learning here. So
Yeah. Um, so yeah, first one, always Jenga. Second one, always Esquiva.
that's a good one. Useful for sure. Yeah.
And obey the rhythm of the beating bow, or you can just say obey the beating bow.
Yeah, yeah. This is difficult for, especially for
Hmm.
beginner students to do to play in Esquiva and then try to actually
Yeah.
listen what's happening with the rhythms.
Play close to your partner.
That's fourth.
Hmm.
Hold on. Play close to your partner.
Yes.
That's quite very counter, like kind of, it's a little bit different to what we see in Capoeira Regional nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, okay.
And again, that's what I'm saying. Like when you go closer and closer to the source, you'll see you'll see just a difference. A difference in how to move to the rhythms themselves, and things of that nature.
All right,
Because
okay.
yeah, because maybe you'll really like the next one.
Okay, let's go.
The next, so all your movements need to have an objective.
Yeah, man. All of, yeah.
Mhm.
So, what about the dance part of capoeira? Yeah,
Mhm.
when you try to flourish your game with form.
Yeah.
So, and some movements you do for the sake of the dance.
Yes.
Would
Yes.
you say this is could be an objective of the movement? So you make it you use it because you want to your capoeira to look better or nicer?
Yeah. It can. The thing is, like, have an objective that is dependent on each individual, So like maybe if I'm playing with someone and I feel like they're too tense, then I'll be like more playful. I'll relax my, Ginga a little bit more, smile. I may do just the movements are more over exaggerated. Maybe I
Mm.
like, you know, allow them to, catch me with some, if I do like an AU and they happen to do cabezada and I don't like really avoid it, I
Yes,
just
exactly. Yeah.
I don't, and they're not coming in to like knock me on my butt, but instead of just everything kind of like tensing up, I allow myself to get caught in certain ways where it gets the person to relax, and then I'm using that as my objective, to get the
Mm.
other person to relax. If I feel like it's too much of aggro or tense energy. um
That's super interesting. Yeah, but this the number five is so important in capoeira. It's
yeah.
not. It's even like it's there is a there was a big misconception. I'm not sure now about now, but
Hmm.
like it used to be said that cordão de ouro is just movements and nothing really essence, nothing really
Hmm.
is going on there. Well, depends on the teacher.
Yeah.
Definitely depends on the teacher, but if you have, if, I've been super lucky, extremely lucky with my teachers. And
Hmm.
our capoeira, the capoeira I teach and I learned is very much focused on having a purpose. It's not just
Yeah.
moving about, but you add those
Hmm.
movements, because it's
Yeah.
part of capoeira. Okay, let's go. Number six.
Yeah, number six is to keep one base in contact with the floor.
Keep one base.
Yeah, so that means like a hand or a foot in contact with the ground.
Keep one base with the contact with the
Hmm.
floor.
Yeah, you can say keep one base in contact.
Ah, in contact. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, uh, can you tell me if in Capoeira Regional there are flips in traditional Capoeira Regional? I've seen
Mm.
macacos in
Yeah.
from the footages from Mestre Bimba
Yeah.
Academy,
Hmm.
but in terms of like mortalos,
No,
okay.
no. So there'll be no backflips, no I would say mount,
Hmm.
no peão de cabeça, no movements, and just also like just a quick story. When I was living in the Bay, Oakland, California, uh, anytime I was around like Master the accordion, it wasn't that often, but when it was just he and I, he would always tell me a story.
Okay.
So I was catching a train to go to Sacramento for an event, and he also was on the same train. So of course, like we sit next to each other, and he talks, and he's like, Malandro, I was the first one to ever do a backflip in the Hoda. Um, there's a photo in the newspaper, and it's in a few academies and stuff. You'll see that I'm doing a backflip, and it because I saw a movie. He saw some movie in Brazil, and there was a guy who did a backflip in it. I don't know in what context. So then he was like, then I went to the beach the next day, and then I practiced the flip, and then I was the first one to ever do a backflip in the Hoda. So I'm saying all that to say like
At
this.
Mestre Bimba's roda?
He didn't say Mastery Bimba's Hoda.
Okay.
He was just like in the Hoda.
Okay. Okay.
Um, but I was just saying, the story is so that the concept of doing like acrobatics in the Hoda is really fairly new if you think
Hmm.
about it.
Yeah. 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 But
So.
still, like when we watch those, you know, everyone knows this footage. Yeah, like
Hmm. Hmm.
okay,
Insane.
yeah, I've watched this
Hmm.
on previous stream,
Hmm.
uh, I believe this is the footage.
Okay. Hmm.
This is like
Yeah.
one of the more popular ones, okay?
Hmm. Yeah,
And
Master Beam.
the,
Hmm.
this is nothing. This capoeira is nothing like nowadays capoeira regional as we call it. Like
Hmm.
they move softly. There is grace in the movements. The movements
Hmm.
aren't perfect either, and
Yeah.
they actually play a little bit on the floor as well. It's not just on
Hmm.
your feet so much. Okay, I mean
Right.
mainly, but there is Aranya there like he did, and you know, and there I've seen there are some flips, quite cartwheels, some macacos there as well.
hmm It's just that it's not any movements where like you don't have anything in contact with the floor. Like if you do a no hand cartwheel or if you do a
Yeah.
actual like backflip. But like macacos, and even like esse dobrados,
Yeah.
like all that is valid because if you can attack
Oh,
or
that was fun.
defend from it, see like even there's all over the place.
Yeah, but you know what I like about this? About
hmm
especially like this benzo here. You've seen that,
hmm
yeah? I've
Yeah.
watched this footage so many times because I try to understand, why
hmm
capoeira nowadays, capoeira regional is so much different,
hmm
Poof. And like nothing, no one is getting like, of course, this is like recorded, maybe like, oh, guys, let's keep it cool,
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
like there is like
hmm
nice benzo going, and he's like, he accepts it, and then the game carries on, boom,
Right,
and he
yeah.
fell, and he carries on, smiles are keep going, like there is
hmm
no anger there, so much. It's like
Exactly.
I love it, if it's not that perfect, but I love it.
Yeah, there's the energy that's behind it because the techniques, will come, over time as long as you like drill it.
Yeah.
But that energy, that playful energy, like that's very hard to experience, as from both people at the same time,
Yes.
especially if somebody else is still figuring their stuff out.
Yeah. All right, let's go. So number 7.
Yeah, number 7. Yeah, cool. Respect when your partner is defenseless.
For real?
Got to make sure we clip that and you add that to like a meme for your reaction. Yeah.
Respect when your partner is defenseless.
Yes.
In
Mhm.
Capoeira Regional. I mean, I'm all for it, but
Yeah, yeah,
it's just, when you watch all those roda de ruas in Brazil, and they're like,
yeah.
there crazy things are happening, like people like maybe he fell, he stumbled, or he got kicked and he's a bit dizzy, and they keep going.
Right. Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's so
hmm
respect when your partner is defenseless.
Yes.
Wow, this is fantastic, man. That's so good.
Mhm.
So we have
Yeah.
two comments. So Aya says, I'm surprised by how loose the guard is. I'm always told by my professor to keep my arms up. I mean, what do you think about this? I, to me, hands always should be there, no matter what
hmm
capoeira is.
hmm
But at the same time, if you kind of respect the other person and they maybe happen to drop their hands, something happened, they slipped, or maybe they're just a beginner, then
hmm
you should respect that as well. You don't have to, kick the shit out of them.
Right. And I think like observing like the how loose their guard is, it could be two things. Like one, uh, it's just everyone's individual expression. Master Nanel points out because he'll say like, yeah, what kind of gets told as Hazel now is everyone, and you see a sea of people, and it's like a cookie cutter kind of scenario. Everyone looks exactly the same. The arm is positioned exactly the same. The Ginga is exactly the same with everyone. And he was like, yeah, in Master Beam's Academy, everyone's Ginga is different. So
Oh,
there's that element of everyone has their own individual expression, but also it could be of like, hey, like when you learn how to drive, you got you start off like this,
yes,
and then
this is
you get
correct way.
comfortable,
Yes.
then here, then you use your foot and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it could just be because they're both high level students that you know they know how to defend themselves or respond. So and they're confident enough to put their hands anywhere.
Yeah. So I would say listen to your professor definitely. Keep your arms up in capoeira, but I always say to my students that Ginga is the signature of capoeirista as well.
hmm
And I don't think you would like to see every single capoeirista doing exactly the same thing, the same movements. It would be boring. It would be inorganic.
hmm
So I believe, yeah, arms up, but play with it and find your own way. Megan, we're gonna get to your question in a minute. And so, okay, let's go number 8. Okay, let's finish the
hmm
Capoeira Regional principles.
Yes. take care of your partner's the whole thing, take care of your partner's moral and physical integrity.
This is just so not what I expected.
hmm
Again,
Yeah.
take care of
Yeah. Yeah. Take care of your partner's
moral and physical.
physical hmm
Did you say
integrity.
integrity? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, look at this chat. Okay, 8 commandments. You know, you know 10. This is another 8 to learn. Man, this is so interesting, and this is I can see this like this is so much viable
hmm
in nowadays
Yeah.
capoeira to learn and to actually apply to your own capoeira.
Right.
It doesn't
And
it doesn't have to be capoeira regional at all.
right. Right. And Mestre Nanel pointed out that this, these are kind of general principles. So it's not something, like you said, it's not something specific to Hadrian. It's just these principles are just organized in this way and kind of uh, reinforced,
Right.
you know. So even like you said, like with the Bain song um, and the movements, it's never done to incapacitate the other person, because if you are doing it to like really hurt and injure the other person, then you don't have someone to play capoeira with, and we also use the terms more your partners, play close to your partner
Yeah.
rather than play close to your opponent, or it's a video of me and you playing, not me versus you in the this video description kind of thing.
Yeah. So the objective of capoeira regional game, is there one
Mhm.
objective, or would you say how you were taught, how you teach your students? What is the objective of capoeira regional game traditionally?
Yeah, to play according to the principles, because that kind of encompasses a lot. And
Very
like I
cool.
was telling especially with the last two, because they're really important. I was like, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't make contact. That doesn't mean that you can't, maybe follow through with a hastera or a vingachiva.
Yeah.
It means that your intention behind it isn't to make fun of or degrade the other person that you're playing capoeira with, but it is like attack and defense, with a rhythm.
Yes.
So um so I think like the objective would be to play capoeira according to play your capoeira according to the rhythm. I'm sorry, according to the principles.
Yeah.
I'm looking at
Maybe
obey the
not that.
rhythm right now in the stage.
Yeah. Obey.
You make sure you obey.
Make sure you obey. The
Yeah.
game is to play
Mhm.
capoeira
Mhm.
according to the principles.
Mhm.
This answered my question perfectly, and it makes so much sense.
Mhm.
To play close. So it's
Mm.
it's not necessarily you have to take down the other
No,
person or
not
kick
at
them.
all.
That's
Mm.
like you still it's a game you try to catch someone, right? Or maybe put them
Mhm.
out of options,
Yeah.
but adhering to the principles so you actually no one gets hurt and
Yeah.
mm, that's so interesting.
And there's different rhythms, to play to, so it's just less some rhythms invoke more of a playful dance like.
I'm gonna stop you here because this is
Mhm.
another thing we're gonna talk about. So
Okay.
this is something since I started uploading videos with about berimbau, it was for people who watch my channel, for my students mainly as well, so they can actually learn the instruments and how to play the different rhythms, but also for me to practice them and to study a little bit more about the rhythms. That was the idea behind me recording the berimbau rhythms. Okay.
Nice.
And what I noticed is that Capoeira Regional is the style of capoeira when the berimbau dictates the most the type of game because of there
Mhm.
is the sheer variety of rhythms. So actually let's talk about that. But first, we're gonna ask see Mega's question. Speaking
Hmm.
of the evolution of capoeira to include acrobatics, what sort of evolution of movement, practices, curriculum, etc., has occurred within Filhos de Bimba regional style specifically?
Yeah. Cool.
So the question is about what sort of evolution of movement practices, yeah,
Hmm.
curriculum, you know. So I get, is
Hmm.
it a question about like how it evolved? Yeah, evolution.
Yeah. Yeah. So it can be just an evolution of a teaching method on how to like break down a movement, different evolutions of uh, applications of movements. Okay, you do Vingachiva in to this to defend against this kick. Okay, now you can also do Vingachiva from this position. But then here's the different counters for Vingachiva.
Mm.
So that part evolves as well. Music, people create cuadras and corridos, so that evolves as well. Master Ninel continues to research the music. So, for example, we had to kind of do research to find the regional version of Samango, right? Even though Master Bimba is on a record of saying like, yeah, here are a list of some of the rhythms and says Samango, but there wasn't um, a recording of him playing Samango. So we had to like find students that were with him and around him so that we could try to rescue this rhythm. And then other practices of just the evolution. For example, when I completed all of my stars that made me eligible for my blue scarf, um, there
What
were
did
certain
you say stars?
stars. Yeah.
What do you mean by
Hmm.
stars?
So the
Oh
facial.
man, I'm gonna squeeze you like a sponge. I'm learning everything today about Capoeira Regional and half of the
Yeah,
internet as well.
no problem. I'm here to help. Um, so before you, what makes you eligible for your to get your blue scarf and have a formatura is just a different. With stars is basically your evaluations, and there's 5 levels.
Oh,
Um, so think of it like a lesson plan for a teacher, and it's the same thing across the board. So my students here for their different evaluation levels, their different stars, for first through fifth has the same requirements as if someone who's has a student with Filhos de Bimba in Brazil or in Stuttgart, Germany, or something like that as
mm.
well. Um, yeah, so you start off with the basic movements on level one. Level two is like attack and defense with like hand movements that are in capoeira. Uh, third is like the takedowns and a few of the baloins, and then also you start to get into the rhythms. So, for example, an evolution would be when I was completing all of my stars, I didn't have to play and sing to Idalina Compassada.
Right.
Now, currently, it's on there. You have to um, sing a quadro corrido to Idalina Compassada, to Banguelinha, to São Bento Grande.
Mm.
Also, the rhythm of São Bento Pequeno regional wasn't on mine because it hadn't been refined just yet.
That
So,
leads us perfectly
hmm,
to rhythms of Capoeira Regional.
yeah.
So basically something that brought us here actually with the music of Capoeira Regional.
Yes.
I'm very excited to talk about this actually.
Hmm.
So maybe rhythms.
Yes.
So let's, what I want to do first, I want to list them.
Hmm.
Okay. So
Cool.
of course then on top, would you say on top the most important I would say is Mestre, Sameto
São
Grande de
Bento.
Mestre,
Hmm.
Sameto Grande de Mestre Bimba.
Yes.
Sorry guys for the spellings and errors, not putting the capitals, but I'm trying to do this quick. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's okay. Let's go. What else do we have? Would you say Banguela?
We say Bangelinha.
Okay, let's talk about this. So, chat. When I started capoeira in Poland 17 years ago, okay, guys, let's go Benguela. That's it. That's okay. What is this? Chton ting
Mhm,
ting, chton ting ting. That's it.
mhm.
That's all we knew. And now we say Banglinia, and this is something different to Bangela or Benguela.
Yes.
I know it is. So, can we talk about this for a moment, please?
Sure. So yeah, you have Bangelinha and then you have Bangela.
With A.
Yes, both of them with A.
There is no Benguela, or there is?
No, there's no. In Capoeira Regional, there's no Benguela.
There is Benguela in capoeira at all?
Yes, there's Benguela. There's Benguela, and then there's Bangela, and then there's a friend of mine who's mastered Bengala.
Bengala. And there is another, that's another rhythm, Bengala.
No, 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 no.
Oh,
That
thank
was just.
God. That would be too much.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's go. So Bangalina. Okay, can you
Mhm.
actually show us?
Yeah, sure. You're gonna play. So,
Just so we
and
could, like 10 seconds taste.
for sure, sure. And you can. I'm looking at you, so you can give me the signal. But I'm just playing the bass with just a few variations. So this
Yes.
is Bangelinha.
Chitong ting. Cool. Okay, so it's chitong ting.
Yeah, just one. It's basically Angola, but with one chiado.
Yes. Oh
For
yeah,
people.
actually, it's Angola with one shadow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna actually put that here.
Hmm. That's Bangelinha.
With one shadow. Okay, let's
Hmm.
go. So Bangalinha, what type of game this rhythm invokes?
I got it. So with this game, it's more so what influences the capoeirista. But ideally, when the rhythm is slower, the tendency is for the capoeiristas to be closer to the ground, right?
Right.
So Banguelian playing very close, and now for floreos, right? Floreos in Capoeira Regional, that means like a smooth or cool way to recover from a movement or get out of a situation or even counterattack. So let's say that we're playing to the rhythm of Bangala, ding, and maybe I do an armada, and then you follow my armada with a meia lua de compasso. But before my armada touches the ground, I au over the leg of your meia lua de compasso,
Right. Yeah.
and you see that. But then you place a cabeçada, and then I, go into Hole. So like that's a floreo in Capoeira Regional, like a smooth interaction
And
with your.
escapes. Yeah. And escapes.
Mhm.
Like yeah. Okay. And that would you say this is kind of type of but when we will play to Bangalinha?
Yeah, but also Banguelinha is known as like jogo floreado, like
Oh. Okay.
a game. Banguelinha is a game of like flourishes. I just wanted to clarify the definition because yeah, in contemporânea, floreos are like hand spins, backflip, head
Yes.
spins, relógio, all
Yes.
those. Mhm.
So jogo
Yeah.
floreado, you said. So this is,
Yes.
but it's not so much. Again, it's not so much about doing crazy stuff. It's more about doing a nice, beautiful
Mhm.
escapes and in control. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Hmm.
Fantastic. Okay. Okay. Let's go. So Banguela.
Banguela. Okay.
So it's double preso at the end.
Mhm.
Chton ding ding.
Yes. So the bass is ch don ch ding ch don ding ding for Banguela. and that tempo. So Bangalinha is much slower. Ch-dun-ding, ch-dun-ding. And then Bangala, ch-dun, ch-ding, ch-dun, ding, ding, ch-dun, ch-ding, ch-dun, ding, ding, ch-dun, ding, ding, ch-dun, ding, ding.
Fuck, I need to re-record my Bengala video now.
Yeah.
I need to remove the one I posted because it's incorrect. It's tradition
Well,
incorrect.
yeah, it's just again, it was just like, hey, and every school like has their version of it. So it's just like, hey, I just want to share the info and just let people know that this variation also exists, and it just comes from the source, and
Yeah,
then that's it. You know.
fantastic, fantastic. No, this is brilliant. Okay, so,
Okay.
oh man, sorry, chat, I have to do this. It's gonna look so stupid because I'm gonna YouTube myself, but I'm gonna show you why. You might not know it, but if I go to Minhoquinho and I go to um, videos and I go to any of my where is my
Which
any
I've saved
birimbau video?
some
Where's my birimbau video? Any like birimbau video, please? Nossa
too.
Senhora. There you go. So there should be a transcription. Oh,
Hmm.
there you go. Sounds. There you go. I wanted to use that. Okay, so let's see if I can do it. It might not work. Oh, it will work.
Hmm.
So let's
Hmm.
transcribe that.
Cool.
Just, for people
Hmm.
so they know. We will probably won't use that. I'll leave it there for now. So with Bangalinha, it's one chiado.
Yes.
Maybe we're gonna do this one. Guys, Samango grande de Mestre Bimba, everyone knows, okay? Um,
Hmm.
but actually, we might actually want to double check on that.
Yeah, because there are some differences.
Okay, so it's chton ting.
Yes. Hmm.
Wait, can I?
Hmm.
Ch- Chton. Chton ting. That's it.
Hmm. Yep.
So that's Bangalinha.
Hmm.
Okay. Banguela, you said that's quite surprising. It's the
Yeah.
base is quite big, yeah? It's
Yes.
again, what is
It
it?
don,
Yeah,
ding,
yeah,
don,
yeah.
ding, ding.
Right. Chton, ding, chton, ding, ding. Oh, there you go. I need to practice that myself now.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay, let's go through Samba no Grande Mestre Bimba quickly then.
Very good. So it's basically the same as Bangela, except for don, ding, ding. It's don, don, ding in the end.
Oh, at the end is you say chton,
Don,
ding,
don.
dan, dan, ding.
Yeah. So that's it. Just the end is don, don, ding.
Ch-ton, ch-ding,
Ding.
ch-ton, don, ding, ch-ton, ch-ding, ch-ton. So it's not ch-ton, ch-ding, ch-ton,
No.
don. Oh
And
man.
that's the way I used to play it. Like it was ch-don, ch-ding, ch-don, don, ding.
So you want to
Um,
so this is the one rhythm that Mestre
th-
Miba played. Ch-ton,
yes,
ch-ding, ch-ton, don, ding.
yes.
Fuck, I need to change all that. I need to
So,
relearn things.
but also, what sometimes what people do when they're doing this variation is they have a difficulty with the pause. So, for example, it goes don ding, and then there's a little pause. Don ding, don don
Yeah,
ding, and then after the don don ding, there's a pause there because people go don don ding, and then put the pause in the wrong.
right, right.
So just playing slowly. So and just because of the how old it is, the vinyl, um, the 1.5 like chiados will sound like two because again people were playing like
Yeah,
telephone
yeah.
and Messi again Messi Bimba wasn't grooming anybody to like take over, or even like the way that we used to like teach people the birimbau, that methodology didn't exist. Like Master Nanel came up with a method to like teach people how to do the birimbau, so there wasn't so much a focus on the students learning and leading the rodas. But yeah, so again, Sambito Granji, a little closer to the regular tempo, right?
Yes. Perfect. Perfect. Fantastic. Yeah, okay. That's a little bit different then. That's a little bit different then
Hmm.
than what I've been practicing, even in my regional group.
Yeah.
It's very, very different. Okay, let's
Hmm.
so ba Bangalinha is usually played slowly.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
yeah, definitely, it's a slow game.
okay, so the jogo de Banguela, what's the difference
Hmm.
between Bangalinha and Banguela then? In terms of jogo, in terms of game.
Well, when the game is slower as opposed to faster, is going to influence your the height of the game. So with Bangalinha, you'll see more of a ground game as well. And when we say ground game in Capoeira Regional, that's not you putting your head on the floor, just because we don't use any movements that require it, right? And even putting your head on the ground in Capoeira again is fairly new, because that all started with Mestre João Grande. um, if you watch even the old footage of Messi, Joe Grande, and João Pequeno playing, Joe Grande is the only one who's doing any sort of like head thing,
Right.
on the ground. And if you think about like the hot cobblestones in Brazil and streets and stuff like that, that wasn't something.
Non natural, really. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it wasn't the norm. And I'm just saying that just to say that it's not that, oh, it's a bad thing if you put your head on the floor. It's just we don't train any movements that require that. If it's a ground movement, that means your hands are in contact with the ground. So, au, chisora, Hole, Ketagihines, macacos, like all anything that melude compasso, all those things that require your hand in contact movements, where your hands are still in contact with the floor. Those are ground movements.
Right. I
So
see.
Bangalinha has more of those, or you'll see more of that type of
But
game.
still, you would say Banguela is still kind of closer to the floor type of game.
Uh, no, because Bangala would be more with Sambito Granji as far as the fast rhythms.
Oh, right. I see. I see.
Yeah. So then
Right.
that would be more upright.
Right. Okay. I see. Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Let's move on. Another.
Yep. Cavalaria.
Yes. Okay.
Hmm.
I hope at least one of my rhythms is kind of closer to the source, the ones I recorded recently.
Hmm.
So, okay, tell me a little bit about Cavalleria then.
It's the same across the board. It's a famous rhythm that was used to warn the capoeiristas of uh, the police that were coming approaching on horseback.
Right. And so is this rhythm actually used within Capoeira Roda?
No.
Okay, makes sense. And what is it again? Can we maybe transcribe it quickly for people?
Yeah. So it's chit don, deen don,
Yeah. Okay, that's correct, I think.
but only one chiato the whole time.
Yeah. Chton, 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 ding dong.
Hmm.
Chton, 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 ding dong. There we go. I
Yes.
try to preserve the spaces as well so people actually get an idea as well.
Hmm. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Next one.
Santa Maria.
I love this rhythm, man.
Mhm.
So nice. Is it, and again, same question. Does it have the, use in Capoeira Roda?
No.
So what's the story behind Santa Maria? Then what's
Um, not everyone has a story that I'm privy to, but it's just Santa Maria is the beginning half of the
Hino? Is
yeah.
it?
Hmm.
Yeah, um yeah, hymn of
Hmm.
Capoeira Regional.
Exactly. Yep.
Right.
Then we
Can we
have
transcribe it? Is it difficult to transcribe it for people?
yeah. So you have chidan chidan chidan. Sorry, chidan di do ding, and that's it.
Don di do
Don.
ding. That's it.
That's it.
Don di do ding ding dong ding.
Hmm.
All right. And that's the base of Santa Maria. I'm glad I
Yeah.
actually checked with you before, like trying to show people how to play it because.
Yeah.
But this is the problem with those rhythms. You go online or you ask someone, and they're gonna show you the whole thing with all hipikis, But what what
Yeah.
what is the actual base?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And again, this methodology is like was developed by Mestre to help people, not even like not just the students, from the school, but there are people who would reach out to him and like, hey, I want to learn or more information about the rhythms that Mestre Bimba used to play, and um, so it was an opportunity for like what we're doing now, just an exchange of information,
Yeah.
and just sharing information from the source, because every school can have like, hey, we play it like this, and that's totally fine. But if you're talking about this as a regional rhythm, here it is from the source.
Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, let's go to Idalina then.
Yeah.
So tell me about Idalina quickly. So this
Hmm.
is this is for Capoeira Roda as well or not?
No, it's just that the faster rhythms are rhythms that Messi Nanel were able to find some recordings of Messi Bimba when he would play to mix them in with Samba Ranchi.
Oh, right.
So for example, you got don ding, then Santa Maria ding, then Santa Maria don ding, don di do ding, don di do ding, then back to Samba Ranchi,
Uh,
don
So what
ding.
is the base of Idalina then?
The base of Idalina is it's a long one. So it's don ding.
Don don ding.
So yeah, don chit ding. That's the whole. That's the
Don
first
don
line.
ding don 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 ding. Don.
Don
Yeah.
don chit ding.
Ding.
Mm-hmm.
Don don ding don don.
Don chit ding.
Can you play it for
There's
us,
more.
please?
Yeah, there's more though.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Okay, let's go.
yeah. So next one is chit don ding.
Don.
Don ding.
Is the space?
Yes. So it's
Yeah.
Shiado Don space Don Ding.
Yeah. Sweet. And that's the end?
Nope.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So going back to that. So Chit Don Ding Don.
Oh my God. Okay, from the beginning. Don
Yes.
don ding don
Don
don.
Ding Chit Don Ding Don Chit Ding.
I lost it.
Mhm, mhm. No problem. So yeah, going slow from the
Yeah,
beginning.
yeah.
Chit
Okay, stop.
Don chit
L-
ding.
Don don ding. Okay, next one.
And then the next
Don
one,
don don ding.
ding don, chit ding, chit ding don, chit ding,
Again. Don 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 ding.
ding don, chit ding.
Don ding dong don ding dong ding.
Hmm.
Mm, ding at the end. Ding.
Yes.
Two
Hmm.
shadows and one preso.
Yeah. So yeah. So it should.
Don 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 ding don don ding don 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 ding don ding don ding.
Yes,
Oh.
there it is.
Okay, my friend. Could you play this for us, please?
Yes, of course. Hmm.
This is so different in terms of like what I try to, like try to imitate from videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
I want to give it a go as well. Let's see. So, can you actually check my transcription for Idalina? Is it correct? So it's Don
Don.
don ding. Don don ding don don ding don. And then there is a space between don.
Yeah, don 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 ding.
Ah.
Yes.
So and then it's don ding don. There is a space again, so it's don ding don. There is should be space or no?
So it goes. That second half is don 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 ding don ding.
Okay.
Don 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 ding. That's it.
And can you show me the beginning once again?
Yeah, you want me to say it or play it?
Just say don.
Don 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 ding don.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Don don. There should be a pause there.
Yeah,
Don
one, two,
don
three.
don ding.
Yes.
Don don. And then the second bit of it. Don 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 ding.
Don ding don ding don ding.
Don don don. Don 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 ding. Don don ding.
Almost. Don 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 ding.
Don.
Don.
One missing here, guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it didn't feel right for me, no?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. Don 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 ding don don. No, and then second, and then bit after this.
Yeah. So
Don don
don
don ding
don ding don.
don. Can you see it? Can you see what I'm showing?
Yeah, I can.
So it,
See it. I'll say it again from the beginning, from the
yeah,
very beginning.
slowly, yeah.
Yep. So don
Yeah.
don ding don ding.
Okay, stop. Don don
Ding
ding
don
don don don ding. Oh my goodness, man, I cannot comprehend.
don don ding don don.
Don. I think I screwed up the beginning, man. Can you see if this is correct, what I'm showing here?
Let's see. So yeah,
Sorry,
one.
guys, I'm being an idiot, but that's quite usual.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Shit don don ding don don ding.
Don don ding don don ding. Is that
Yes,
correct? Like
that is
the
correct.
way I pronounced it?
Yep.
So it's
Don don ding. Yes. Almost.
almost
Ding. No, just on the last one. Yeah.
at the end.
Yes, at the end.
No.
That's it.
Okay. That's it. I'm not gonna spend too much time on this because I've really tried to value your time and
No, I'm
the people
good.
who
I'm
watch.
good.
Okay, let's jump to Amazonas then. I know, sorry, Idalina. So can you what's any information on Idalina for us, please?
No, just sometimes it gets mixed in with samba grande.
Oh, so it's basically like a more like a hepiki.
Yeah.
Right, perfect. Okay, Amazonas.
Let's go to Idalina Compassada.
Oh, all right, okay. So that's different then.
Yeah, so that they can be grouped together.
Okay, I'll just put it there. Idalina
Compassada.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So what's the difference between Idalina Compassada and Idalina and
not only the tempo is different, but also the instrument is different, right? The notes, sorry. So you have Idalina, right?
Yeah.
That we just played, right? So Idalina Compassada is
so it's very similar, but it sounds kind of almost like variation of Idalina, isn't it?
Yeah. There's different notes, but there is that similarity of the little pause. Don don
Yeah.
ding don don ding don ding don ding, and then this one don don na ding don 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 ding don ding don.
Don't worry,
Yeah.
chat. I'm not gonna try to transcribe it now because that would take ages. So, in terms of, what's the difference between the rhythms? Not in terms of how you play it, but why do we have two?
That's a good question. That is a good question. I'm gonna ask. I'm asking to know like why. To
Oh,
also like don't know why we have a. I'll ask the same thing with Bangelia and Bangela. Like why two similar things.
very good.
Hmm.
Fantastic. Next one. Do you want to go to Amazonas or any other one?
Yeah, we got Amazonas and we also got Iuna.
Yeah.
Cool. Amazonas.
Okay. So,
So you got Don Don.
ch down, down,
Then you got Don Ding.
down, 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 ding,
hmm And then you got Don Don Don.
down, down, down.
And
Uh-huh.
then Ding. And then Ding.
Okay. Can you play it for us, please?
hmm Now, just real quick, it's do don don ding do don don ding. Okay,
Okay.
but just that first don, okay, is the don is with the kabasa on your stomach.
Man, I have it. I have a transcription for that, but I
Mhm.
removed it. So
No problem. Just I'm just saying that so that you know that
yeah.
it's a different note.
So it's don 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 ding
Yeah.
don
Yeah.
don don ding.
hmm And then this is another one. There's another don where the kabasa is on the stomach.
Yeah.
Um, but that's about it. So
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Nice and easy. But so Amazonas, can you tell us about this rhythm in terms of,
yes, this is the rhythm that you play or play to when you receive your yellow scarf at the
Oh,
ceremony.
right.
hmm Yeah,
Only yellow scarf?
only the yellow scarf. So at the ceremony, for example, those that receive their red, they're going to play to Yuna at the ceremony. Those who receive their yellow, they're going to play to Amazonas.
Fantastic. So, okay, so let's go to Yuna. So, is this the only way you play Yuna to receive the red scarf?
No. So once you are formado, then anytime that Yuna is played, because it'll happen always at our rodas, like at our rodas, we generally play Sambento Grande, Idalina, Compassada, sometimes Sambento Pequeno, um, and then we always finish with Yuna.
So, I wanted to ask about jogo de Yuna.
hmm
So,
So, mhm, go ahead.
yeah, because I've experienced Toki G Yuna played within like
hmm
on Batizado or somewhere, I can't remember.
Right.
But back then I was quite young capoeirista, I didn't really pay attention, but I remembered
hmm
the rhythm. So is it true like you use this rhythm like and when the Jogo de Yuna is a bit more like free game when it's not about so much objective to maybe catch the other person, but like
hmm
but at the same time, I'm asking this because it's what I'm just saying now. It kind of describes what we talked about Bangalinha.
hmm
So probably I'm wrong here in terms of
Well,
Yuna.
well, in Iuna, as it was the rhythm itself and also the game was created by Mestre Bimba. It's specifically for the formados, and in that game, they're going to spontaneously it's play, but also implement the different baloins. And what baloins they do is totally up to uh, the two players. So, for example, in the Cintura Desprezada, there's four basic baloins. So you can do some of those in the game, But also there's a ton of other Balaoes that are not in the in that sequence, just like there's a ton of capoeira attacks and different kicks that are not in the sequencia.
Right.
So the formados have to uh, play and do, you know, however many, and who determines how many balones they do is the person who is playing the beating bow.
Right.
Um, how many they like want to see. But yeah, you just have to play and spontaneously. I don't know how you're going to throw me, and you don't know how I'm going to throw you, but we have to make sure that we land on our feet.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's quite advanced, definitely. And
hmm
just to clarify, can you explain what Cintura Desprezada is and what's the difference? Because we use those terms, Cintura Desprezada and Balaoes.
Yes. So balons is are the names is the like the category of throws, right? So the Cintura Desprezada is a sequence of balloons,
Right. Okay.
you know, and that's
Perfect.
the name of the sequence. And yeah, I've said like, oh, this is the Cintura Desprezada, but just to clarify, when you say Cintura Desprezada, you're that's the name of the sequence of the balloons.
And the sequence is the one sequence we talked about, the four basic ones.
Yes, apanhada, balão de lado, balão cinturada, and gravata alta.
So that the guys chat, yeah, if you guys missed that, if anyone joined, this is what we talked about at the beginning, okay? So those are basically this sequence of those balance.
Mhm.
I should
Yeah.
actually say this is actually Cintura Desprezada sequence.
hmm Yeah.
And then those are the balance. Right. So
hmm
okay, fantastic. Um, can you play Yuna for us?
Of course. Mhm.
Fantastic, fantastic, brilliant. Have you missed anything? Is there any other rhythms we need to talk about? You also, you of
Yes.
course, you mentioned Samango,
There's
but I want to talk about this as well.
there's Sambento Pequeno.
So Sambento Pequeno is
Mhm.
part of Capoeira Regional.
Yes.
Okay, again, learned something new.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's the reverse of Toki de Angola, isn't it? Chting don
Mhm.
don, chting don, no, chting don, chting don, or not?
Close. So here is going to be Chidin, Chidan, Chidin, Dan, Dan.
Hmm.
Chidin.
Yeah, yeah, I got it. I have it in my head. Chting,
No,
chton,
I know.
chting.
I see it's in your
It's just like
Mm,
chting, and then you had chting, chton, chting, don, don. Yeah, can you play it for us?
Sure.
So what I wanted to say to people, okay, just like Aya mentioned there about using the hands, yeah, in the chat, she mentioned about using the hands in capoeira.
Mhm.
That doesn't mean, okay, just so we are on the same page. That doesn't mean that São Bento Pequeno, especially,
Mhm.
because that's what caused my thinking now. This is the São Bento Pequeno that the only São Bento Pequeno exists in capoeira world. Because in capoeira Angola, the São Bento
Mhm.
Pequeno is played differently.
Yes.
Okay. So just so people know, okay, it's not like this is how you play and this is the only way. This we talk of specifically Capoeira Regional now.
Yeah.
In Capoeira Regional, this is what we've got. Fantastic.
Yes. hmm
Okay, what else do we have? Sabento Pequeno in terms of like using that in the roda, this rhythm.
Yeah. You clap and sing everything.
So, but you just play capoeira with this rhythm.
Yep. Yep.
So why would Mestre? or the Hoda leader would prefer to use, let's say, Samento Grande Mestre Bimba over Sambeto Pequeno?
I have no idea because they're pretty much like, to be honest, they fall in the same category, right? So even if the person is playing samba to grande, right?
Yeah,
Then you can switch to samba to pequeno, and then back.
all right. So you can actually within the Hoda you can inter switch them and it's just the same type of game.
Exactly,
Very
and
interesting.
but you samba to pequeno, you can start with the quadra and corrido
Yeah,
and things like that.
right,
But there are other rhythms that you can mix in, but they don't have a game officially with it, like Santa Maria. I can
right.
mix that, but it doesn't have a game. We're not going to start a Hoda playing Santa Maria.
Fantastic. I see. Okay.
Mhm.
So what else do we
Yeah,
have?
we just have Samango, and then also the Hino da Capoeira Regional.
Yeah, okay.
So,
With Hino, we're gonna talk at the end.
mhm.
So Samango,
Yes.
what I know about this,
Hmm.
this is something I've experienced with my teacher. So Samango, the way we practiced that, it was a training of basically trying to kick each other.
Yeah, I saw
Am I
the.
correct?
Yeah, Mestre, Kajikinya. Yeah, it's like there's a video from his academy.
There is a
Yeah.
video on YouTube
Hmm.
of him doing Samango.
Of the his students doing Samango.
Let's see. How do I find it on YouTube?
Hold on, let me see. Let's see the search.
Mestre Canjinquinha, Samango.
Hmm.
Let's see. Oh, come on. Toque de Samango, okay. O jogo de Samango Mestre Canjinquinha Capoeira. That could be
There
in
you
44 seconds.
go.
Okay, guys, so for those who've never seen this before type of training, if it's what I think it is, it can be
Hmm.
tough. Let's see. And jumps. Okay, first let's talk about the rhythm, and then we're gonna talk about actually what it is and what's the purpose and so on. So
Hmm.
what's the rhythm of Samango? You mentioned there is one.
Yeah, and there's two versions of it. There's Samango that's used in Capoeira Angola, like with Messi Kajikinha, and then there's Samango with Capoeira Regional. So
So this is the version of Capoeira Angola,
no, Regional.
regional. Okay.
Hmm. I never. I've heard the one from Angola, also with Mestre Brasilia, with Mestre Brasilia, but I was never taught. So to say like the actual notes for
Yeah.
Angola, I do not know. I just know the ones for Regional.
Okay. So okay, this is regional kind of
Yeah.
video. So what's the transcription for Samango? I'm gonna definitely learn it.
All right. So we're gonna come back and do some variations, but it's don 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 don. 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Right. Dun 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 dun.
Okay. So don 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 da don don dee don.
So this is as a second line.
Just I'm starting back at the beginning. Da don da don da don don deen don, and it's only one dean.
Yeah. Dun 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 dun
Don
dun
deen.
dun 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 dun.
Close. Dun 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 ding dun.
Dan
One,
dan
two,
dan
three,
din
four,
dan
five.
dan 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 din dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this is not perfect by any means, guys, because the you know the space I'm trying doing my best with the spaces. Dan 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 din dan 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 ding dang.
Mm-hmm.
Dun 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 din dun dun dun
Mm-hmm.
dun 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 din dun. Okay, that's correct.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the base.
Yes, this is the
Dun
base.
dun 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 din dun. Okay, perfect.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
please do tell me, because this is probably something I know the least of Samango.
Same. Yeah, same here. Samango is a rhythm that's fairly recently rescued. So currently we don't have a game that goes to it. But again, Master Nanel was still to this day like doing research and finding um, and developing more things that Master Bimba kind of left behind. Again, there's the CD or the vinyl that Messi Bimba talks about the different rhythms that exist in Regional, and he mentions Samangu, and Messi Ninel was able to eventually, search and kind of find the rhythm that Messi Bimba played or reference that he designated what would Samangu be, and then now we have it as a part of our curriculum.
And what is Samango?
Oh, Samangu is another nickname for police. So Cavallari are the police that are on the horseback, and then Samangu are just the ones that are on foot. But I guess also maybe that's why they both have a similar Samangu and Cavalaria have a little bit of a similar bounce.
Chton, 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 ding dong, dong dong, do 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 you. Okay, yeah,
Yes.
quite
Hmm.
similar. And but in terms of like the training or game of
No,
Samango,
no, none,
no.
none,
So
no.
no, but what we saw there on the footage here, they
Yeah,
do.
so that was Mestre Kajikinya. That's his separate thing. Like we
Do you know much about this? Can you tell anything about this in terms of?
um no, of like the purpose behind it, the rhythm. I just know that it comes from Master Kajikinya, uh, and then also Messi Brasilia had shared some information about it, but at this point it's just basically looking, observing what they're doing, and then just kind of making an assumption from there.
Yeah, so I guess as we saw here, this jump, okay, there are footages from Africa.
Ah, yeah.
There are those
Mhm.
kind of rituals. It looks very similar to Hada, where
Mhm.
people would jump and they do flips.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
this looks very
Mhm.
similar to this, but here are the you basically it looks like you're trying to kick each other and you try to
Yeah.
really get away. There, if you notice, there is no much Ginga there. Okay,
No.
by default, the people, because I guess they're practitioners of capoeira,
Mhm.
they if they fall, they still go hole, and they still go like one of them.
Mhm.
I think they try to do is dobrado or something even. But look at the jumps, so
Yeah.
interesting. These jumps, kicks, and even the flying kick. Oh, there you go. Even the flying kicks, that's very interesting. So I remember my master did Samango training once. It was tough. I landed badly on my ass because someone grabbed my leg, and they like kicked the
Yeah.
other leg, and I flew. Okay, perfect. So lastly, Hino da Capoeira Regional.
Yeah, o hino da Capoeira Regional.
Man, I love this rhythm so much. So I'm gonna record the video for my channel with this.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna try to copy because there is a recording of Mr. Bimba playing it. I'll
Yeah.
try to exactly copy of that because it's so nice. Can you play a little
Yeah.
bit for us?
Sure.
Let's transcribe it now. No,
Mhm.
no, 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 no. We're not doing that. So is this for starting, ending Capoeira Roda or just ending Capoeira Roda?
Yeah, this is for any every class, every hoda, and every like movement based workshop or even music workshop. Like every class hoda workshop, we always end with the anthem, the Hino da Capoeira Regional.
Is it spelled correctly? Hino da Capoeira Regional?
Yes,
It's correct.
yes.
Yes. There you go. Okay, so basically, yeah. Um, End of Hoda, you said what class?
Yeah, end of class slash hoda. Yep.
Yeah, nice. Is there anything else we should know about um, the rhythm of Hino?
Um, it is based off a Paia Laranja no Chão Chico Chico, and
I
just
thought it's actually
messy.
the other. I thought it's the other way around.
No,
But
it's the other. Yeah, it's the Paia Laranja, inspired by that. And just Master Bimba liked the rhythm so much, he designated it as the anthem. But also, to my knowledge, he would use this rhythm to just test the quality of his bidding bows.
mm,
So
makes
if it
sense.
sounded a certain way playing this particular rhythm, then yeah. And all of our bidding bows are like this with this kind of same finish, varnish. Yeah, that's what it is. These all of our bidding bows are the same. We don't like paint our bidding bows or anything like that. It's just we put this varnish to protect the wood, and then that's it. I also
Fantastic.
like the edge. The edge is like a point
Oh
here
yeah,
rather
so
than.
some beer. Let's see mine. Yeah, mine is pointy as well here.
Hmm.
The one. Well, one
Yeah,
of
yeah.
them, but I have also the kind of the different ending. Is this any kind of purpose behind that? I guess the
Um,
oh,
I wouldn't say like I have an official purpose. For my knowledge, it's just it was the more African like traditional way,
right.
just to
Okay.
easy,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
make a point and then boom, there you go.
Makes sense. Totally.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Um,
Hmm.
oh man, we've covered so much. We've covered so much, but I still feel like th that's, there is still so much to talk about.
Hmm.
Um, Let me take a look because there are quite a few other things. Yeah, that's gonna be maybe a bit quicker.
Hmm.
Ginga de Capoeira Regional.
Hmm.
Okay, we kind of touched on this a little bit. Okay, so traditionally the Ginga is not really like the fist and
Hmm.
then
No.
and then like really stiff and like 1 2 1 2 and then you just kick, and kind of very often stay in one place.
Yeah. Hmm.
So the Ginga you teach your students is more like how can you describe it? The
I would say just we for well, if I have a small amount of students or if I'm teaching someone, we always hold the hand first, hold the person's hand, and then teach them to Jenga that way. And just have the arm like relaxed, you know.
but ready, yeah?
Yeah,
Relaxed by
I
ready.
would say, yeah, the Bruce Lee, not tense but ready. Um, but yeah, just like to have the arm relaxed, but then also keeping it, ready to deflect and in this area for protection.
Right. Okay.
You know,
But it's not really like
but it's not no, there's not a here, there's not a pinky that points out,
yeah.
none
Okay, okay.
of that.
One more thing I wanted to ask you in terms of music. The Bateria, or
Hmm.
you called it something else?
Charanga.
Charanga?
Hmm.
Do you spell it with
The
CH, yeah?
C8. Yeah. Hmm.
Or so Charanga, the Bateria of Capoeira Regional, traditionally
Yeah.
is it one birimbau, two pandeiros?
Hmm.
This is how
It's
you
all. It's always, always.
always.
Hmm.
So no other instruments,
No.
clapping, Pama de Bimba, which is 1 2 3.
Yes. Hmm.
Right. Okay.
And you always start with a quadra and then go into a cogido.
Right. Fantastic. Okay, so Charanga is the basically
Hmm.
Capoeira Regional Bateria.
Hmm.
Fantastic. Lastly, to finish up, okay, I promise I wanted to ask you about this played already for a moment here. Okay, Again, this is just one of the million of videos. This seems to be quite old footage, 14 years ago, not so old, but
Mhm.
I wanted to ask, like in terms of like um, Capoeira Regional, because this is the very often the image of Capoeira Regional in the world
Yes, it is.
right now.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I wanted to hear your 2 cents, your 2 cents on that,
Yeah.
okay? We're not gonna
Mhm.
watch the whole thing, but this kind of,
Mhm. Yeah.
this, of course, I
And
already know this breaks the principles we talked about.
yeah.
But this, and what's so interesting here, they do that, they stand up, they shake hands, and that's it, they carry on. They just
Yeah.
have you seen they just try to punch each other.
Right.
To me personally, no offense anyone, but it doesn't look like capoeira. Capoeira
Yeah.
had to be smart, right? Had to be kind
Mhm.
of cunning and not so open. Oh, I'm just gonna attack you. So
Yeah.
what do you think about this?
I think also is important to know is like the capoeira itself is just the art form, and then people, humans, bring themselves and everything that comes with that to the art form. So these people that are kind of brawling, basically, they would be doing that if they were doing any other martial art. You know, if
Right.
they were doing boxing or whatever. But I think again it goes like with against the principles because it's the other person is my partner, and that definitely looks like like, hey, I'm showing my dominance. I'm
Mm,
showing how strong I am. I'm pretty sure a bunch of those people have like used some sort of like enhancements.
mm,
Um, because also that there was a time in Brazil where that was very popular. Steroids going around. Um, but yeah, it unfortunately, after Master Bimba died, many Masters have said that Regional died along with him,
mm.
which they were. That's kind of true because anything again that wasn't Capoeira Angola would be termed Capoeira Regional. So if two guys were like fighting in the street, oh, that's Regional, unfortunately. But then the same stereotypes would be like, oh, Angola's only slow and low to the floor,
Yeah, which is not.
which is not.
Yeah, just so
Yeah.
people know, Capoeira Angola, people think you have to place your fingers, not your whole palm, on the floor. Yeah, because you see old masters play Capoeira like
Yeah.
this on the floor, slow kicks. That couldn't be farther from the truth. Capoeira
Right.
Angola can be also
Hmm.
quite intense.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Man,
Yeah.
thank you so, 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 so much for this
Mhm.
2 hour capoeira class, really on Capoeira Regional. I,
Man, the time went like this. I didn't even notice it was two
yeah,
hours.
yeah, but 2 hours we've been here, okay? So, and yeah, it seems some people enjoyed it. I hope you guys
Hmm.
did. If you guys have any final questions, this is the time. Todd Russell, hello, my friend. Um, so yeah, thank you so much once again for doing that. I've learned a ton. If I've learned a ton, I'm sure people also learned a ton, okay? Uh,
Yeah.
we covered quite a lot of stuff here, okay?
Hmm.
And some things, my reaction was real. I didn't exaggerate for the purpose of the internet. The
Hmm.
principles and some of them, just going totally against what's believed in
Yeah.
with capoeira
And
regional.
and again, I just want to thank you so much for the opportunity because again, it's just sharing information. Like the goal is not to come in and just be like, "Hey, what you're doing is wrong. That's not true. This or that is not as valuable as this." It's just, "Hey, I'm just sharing information that I learned. I didn't always know what I know now, and I have the opportunity to go to Brazil, go to the source, ask questions, and be exposed to this information." And now I would be doing a disservice to the ancestors and the teachers if I didn't do my best to share the information.
Of course.
So I'm just grateful also for having me on your platform and just receiving me with such like open arms. And capoeira is going to grow just as a whole, and everyone understanding everyone and everyone being able to play capoeira with and learn from each other if we continue to do things like this.
Right. Man, thank you so much again. Guys, so thank you very much for watching, okay? I can already see you, so you've learned a lot. That means a lot as well. And I'll probably see you at the next one, and I'm gonna have final few words behind the camera with Malandro as well.
Awesome.
Private talk. But again, thanks very much for joining in, guys. I'm gonna stop the live now. If you have any other questions, please post them in the chat below, okay? After the end of this live, or maybe you have any comments, that'll be great to hear. And if you, I know you learned a lot. Lastly, please share this with other people so they can spread the word about Capoeira Regional as well, which is fantastic. Okay, I'm gonna log out now. Take care, guys.
Mhm.